Attention listeners, this episode contains information regarding sexual assault, rape, and crimes against women. Please listen with care. Thank you. In 1990, in Greenville, South Carolina, a 28-year-old woman is found strangled to death in her apartment. Sadly, she had also been sexually assaulted. In 1991, 4 teenage girls are murdered inside a yogurt shop in Austin, Texas, a crime so brutal it still haunts investigators. 6 years later, in 1997, during a home invasion in Memphis, Tennessee, 4 adult females were bound and gagged while a 14-year-old guest was raped. But thankfully, all 5 women survived. 1 year later, in 1998, a mother and daughter are found murdered in their home in Portageville, Missouri. Sadly, the daughter had been sexually assaulted. And just hours after this incident in Missouri, a woman survives a shooting during a home invasion in Dyersburg, Tennessee. Then, 6 months later, still in 1998, now in Lexington, Kentucky, a 43-year-old woman named Linda Rutledge was raped, shot, and her business was set on fire. At first glance, all these crimes may seem separate. Different states, different victims, different years. But then, time goes by, technology advances, and yep, you got it. Guess what speaks? DNA. This is Missouri Mayhem, Mystery and Murder. I'm Megan.
And I'm Mindy. Thank you for being with us today. Okay, 6 separate crimes across five,
Yes.
right? 5 different states?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so are you telling us that all of these are connected in some way?
You guessed it. All of these are going to end up being connected in some way. And what if I tell you that this same individual crossed state lines back and forth through the Midwest for nearly a decade without getting caught?
Wow.
And what if science, not witnesses, finally connect the dots? And what if the man responsible for all this trauma and chaos was already dead before anybody even knew his name?
Wow.
I know. Today we are breaking down the crimes of a serial killer named Robert Eugene Brashears and how forensic science connected a trail of violence that stretched from Florida to Texas to Missouri and beyond. We're going to separate the evidence from speculation because, of course, like a lot of cases, there's a lot of that.
Mhm.
And we're going to explore how crimes in 5 different states become connected through one single strand of DNA many years later.
One
One sample.
single strand of DNA
Yes.
connected all of them together.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we're just kind of going to get into our case today. It is kind of heavy. I'm not going to, start with any of the regular info only because we're talking about like 7 different years here
Yeah.
where this took place. And of course, we're bringing it to Missouri Mayhem because we have one of these cases that does take place in Missouri.
Yes.
And I think there are several of the other cases that people will be familiar with, especially the Austin, Texas yogurt shop murders.
Yes, I had heard of that one as well.
Yes. So let's talk about who Robert Brashears was kind of initially, I guess, his kind of first act that showed what he could do. And a lot of people said, this was a huge warning signal that showed who Robert Brashears really was. So are we ready to get into it?
Let's do this.
It's heavy, guys. I know it, but I think you'll find this very interesting.
Mayhem alert.
Yes. And we all will be very, I think, grateful at the end that this person was finally caught. And I think you'll be moved at how this person was caught. So here we go.
All right.
Okay. So in 1985, 24-year-old Michelle Wilkerson refuses Robert Brashears' sexual advances. And pretty much that refusal almost cost her life. He basically got pissed off because she would not have sex with him, shot her in the head, but she survived. She identified him. And this first act is a window into the mind of an eventual serial killer. It wasn't spontaneous. It wasn't, in the midst of
Mhm.
some rage and big fight. She said, "No, I don't want to have sex with you." And he pulled out a gun and shot her.
Jeez.
So he ends up going to prison for this for 12 or gets a 12-year sentence.
Okay.
Okay. So and I'm like, okay, should have been more than that, but 12 years. Okay. But guess how much time he actually served for that?
Oh, probably 5.
Not even.
Not even 5
Not even
years.
5 years. And this is where I think our system is starting to
Well, we have
realize.
this conversation a lot.
Yes.
We do
Yes.
about that.
Well,
Yes.
and here he was able to shoot someone, almost kill them.
So just because she didn't die.
Correct. Just because she didn't die this time, this person didn't die.
Right.
Um, this predator served 3.5 years. Why? Well, let's remember this is back in the 80s. Okay, this took place in 85, so he was in there in the late 80s. Sentencing laws were much more lenient back then, and good behavior went a long ways. So, according to people, basically, because of the lenient laws and because he was a good prisoner and did what he was supposed to do, after barely serving a fourth of his sentence, he gets out.
That would be easy to do too. To be a good prisoner.
Well, yes!
Just do everything
Just
you're
do-
supposed to think that that would get you out much sooner.
Exactly. And as we'll see, of
I
course.
wouldn't say you're rehabbed.
No, I wouldn't say either. Actually, you're probably worse now than you were when you went in.
Yes. It's just maybe an act just to get out.
Oh, for sure. And he's going to submit and do what men tell him because men is not who he seeks out. It's women.
Yeah.
And he sees women as weak. So he probably was good in prison because it was men all around him. And
Mhm.
I don't want,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not going
true.
to start. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mom called us out last week or a couple weeks ago. She goes, Mindy said the MFer word on
She did.
So I was
She got on me.
getting ready to use the MFer again, but
You're like,
I won't.
oh, our mom's listening.
Mom's,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just say mother trucker.
Yes. And so then, as we've said many times, these criminals feel emboldened because they're not really held accountable for what they've done. So he's like, man, I can shoot somebody straight in the head and only get 3.5 years. And
So I can do a lot of things.
yeah, I mean, really, I could probably go shoot someone again and I might get a couple years in jail again.
Just shoot him in the leg and make sure I don't kill him, but I can shoot someone because I only do 3 years.
Yeah. So if law enforcement and prison officials had really known what Robert Brashears was truly capable of, they would have never released him, ever. But sadly, this incident in 1985, like I said, was the warning, and this is Robert just getting started. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So that is his first crime, our first kind of dose of him. So, crime number 2. So he's in jail again in the late 80s. Okay, we're going to go to 1990. So, pretty much not long after he's out of jail, he ends up making his way to Greenville, South Carolina. And this is where he's living not long after his release. And unfortunately, a mile down the road from him lived a woman, 28 years old, by the name Genevieve Jenny Zatricki.
Okay.
And friends remember Jenny as hardworking, independent, quietly ambitious, that she was building a life she loved, and she was alone, but
So she was a single
woman making her way in the world. So in April of 1990, again, less than a year from when he's released from prison, Robert Brashears breaks into Jenny's apartment in the night while she's sleeping,
How terrifying.
proceeds to beat, rape, and kill
Oh my
her.
gosh.
Police find her body in her bathtub. And even though it's only 1990, these crime scene investigators are smart.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead and collect DNA, they seal it, and they store it. And they know right now, obviously, the technology is not anywhere near where we need it to be, but we're going to collect it. And
Yeah.
like we said, that's a lot more than a lot of CSI or police
I
do.
wonder how he got into her apartment.
Oh, gosh, who knows?
Who knows?
Window, shimmy the door open.
Yeah.
So many things.
Yeah.
So sadly, because there is no actual evidence, this case goes cold in 1990. Now, this is escalating. We're going from the first incident, nope, shoot you, and now we're going to, okay, I'm going to break into someone's house. I'm not even asking. I'm raping someone.
I'm going to beat you. I'm going to rape you. And I'm going to kill you.
So this has gone from shooting someone in a fit of rage to what they call sexual homicide. And again, all show means of Brashears wanting control and dominance. And, again, This guy does this, drives away like nothing's happened, keeps living his life. Okay, so that's crime number
Oh,
2,
gosh.
1990. Crime number 3, and again, this may be one a lot of people are familiar with because it was recently solved, which we're going to talk about, and has a connection to this. We're going to be talking about the 1991 I Can't Believe It's Yogurt Shop murders in
Okay.
Austin, Texas. So, about a year later, little over a year, that was in Greenville, South Carolina. Now we're in Austin, Texas. It's a quiet December 6th evening in North Austin in 1991, and winter's settling in, and we've got this little small yogurt shop in a strip mall near the big mall. And teenagers were there finishing their day. We had Jennifer Harbison, who was 17, and her friend Eliza Thomas, who was also 17, and they were the ones working and closing up. And I've done that. I've closed up restaurants.
Absolutely.
You know, they're sweeping, they're putting chairs
Yes.
up,
Filling up the ketchup.
filling up the ketchups,
Folding napkins.
mopping the floors, doing all that stuff.
Mhm.
Normal end of shift routine. And this evening was a little different though, because Jennifer's younger sister, Sarah, who was 15, and her friend Amy Ayers, who was only 13, they'd been at the local mall hanging out. And it was right there by the yogurt shop. And they just told their mom, Sarah told their mom, you know what, Amy and I are going to go over to the yogurt shop with Jennifer and you can pick up, we'll just
So
ride home with
those two
them.
did not work at the
No,
yogurt shop. They
no.
just happened to be there.
Yes, so sad. Like, this was a rare thing. I think Sarah would go sometimes and hang out with her sister while
Mhm.
she closed, but Amy being with her especially, I think was
Okay, I thought they
yeah.
all 4 were working there. Okay.
No.
Wow.
So they were just there waiting for a ride home when
Uh-huh.
with the girls. And of course, nobody could have imagined what was about to happen. Shortly before 11 o'clock, literally with the keys still in the front door, ready to be turned and locked, like you can see that on video footage. They believe someone either enters the shop at that moment,
At that very second.
as they're getting ready to lock up, or they could have been hiding inside, but they're pretty sure, from what I've read, it looks like someone probably entered. But law enforcement are not 100% sure on that. But in an instant, this normal evening becomes a nightmare that is going to span for decades for these girls and their family. Basically, whoever did this herded all 4 of the girls into the back.
Herded.
Yes, into the back room, made them get back there, and this is horrible, you guys, so much mayhem here. They were pushed back into the back room, which is it was kind of basically like a workspace, kind of an office space. They were told to strip. They were bound with their own clothing, gagged with their own clothing, and sexually assaulted. All 4 were shot in the back of the head, execution style. But what was really weird was there were 2 different firearms used. Initially, they thought it was only a .22 caliber because that's the
Mhm.
shell casings they found.
Mhm.
But then as they continued to investigate, they found a .380 shell casing in the drain. So
Okay.
they're like, 2 guns were used. Okay, does that mean there's 2 perpetrators?
Or he used one gun, ran out of bullets, and then used the other gun.
Correct. Now, from what they could tell, Amy Ayers, who's 13 and was just happened to be there with her friend Sarah, they're pretty sure she survived her first shot because somehow she had pulled herself away from the other girls and crawled towards the center of the store or was making her way.
Oh, that is mayhem right there.
But
So
the killer returned and shot her again. And this is miraculous, you guys. Even in Amy's final moments, she was fighting to live. And this is going to make a difference. This is going to make a difference. And we're going to talk more about this in a minute. But this murder, this was methodical. This was planned. This was cold. And there was an attempt to erase evidence, and it worked because the killer set the yogurt shop on fire and ruined so much evidence. Not only did the firefighters show up around midnight, and of course, the entire building gets drenched in water,
all evidence just gone.
destroyed. And sadly, they find the bodies of the girls. I mean, this community, Austin, Texas, in early 90s was not like it is today.
Mhm.
Austin, Texas, I think really was considered still a pretty small, for a big town, a small town, and people really felt safe there and really
2 sisters.
Yes.
Just how awful for
Awful.
their parents, you
Oh,
know?
I've watched so many interviews with all of these parents
Mhm,
and especially the 2
mhm.
sisters, well, all of them. And you're gonna find out here in a minute. I mean, their willingness to never give up
Yeah.
and never stop. It's a testament to them. Now, for years in this case of the yogurt shop murders, justice falters from fake evidence or things being said that aren't true. And in 1999, 8 years after this murder, 4 men are arrested. Robert Springsteen, no relation to Bruce, Michael
Huh.
Scott, no relation to Michael Scott, Maurice Pierce, and Forrest Wellborn.
No
Those
relation to Forrest Gump.
no. Those 4 had confessed to the yogurt shop murders. But if you watch these documentaries, they were coerced. They kept these men in there for
Coerced to admit they
hours.
did it?
Yes, for hours, especially Robert Springsteen. He is adamant for over hours and hours and hours. I did not do this. I don't know what you're talking about. By the time he'd been in there, I believe it was over 8 hours being drilled. He's like, maybe you're right. Maybe I did do it.
Nuh-uh.
Yes. And they're like,
That's to me is
oh,
so wrong and incredible that you could get someone to actually make you believe that you did it.
yes, and that just shows the brain, how the brain can
Brain,
kinda turn on itself,
yes.
and then
All of them.
yes,
Is it
all
1,
of them,
2, 3, 4?
4,
Got
and
4.
have them turn on each other and say like, "Oh, yeah, I think yeah, yeah, he had a
Oh.
gun," and it was crazy, and these guys, they were arrested. They were arrested and put in jail. They were convicted,
Mm,
and innocence was hidden behind the system, and how could you be a police officer knowing that they'd been claiming their innocence and all of a sudden, "Oh, yeah, I did it." Well, they just want an arrest. They want the public to think they have found someone and arrest them.
mhm.
It is not until 2009, 10 years later, after DNA from a vaginal swab, which we'll talk about later, fails to match them, that they are finally released.
Wow.
Yes. So they end
How
up
long were they in jail for?
10
10
years.
years?
Yes, innocent. All 4 of them had nothing to do with this. Nothing. And the parents, of course, believed it. They are like, "Yes, they did it." Even when they got out, they're like, this is not right. They did it."
And it makes sense, 4 people,
Yes.
it would take you would think it would take more than one person to do that.
And they're all teenagers, like, yeah,
Yeah.
early 20s. So
Uh,
they're like, yeah. Now, it's terrible because the real killer we know is out there. Robert Brashears is out there wreaking havoc on these towns, these people, these communities, and people are being falsely accused. It's gonna take 34 years for science to catch up to this guy.
huh.
This is crazy. Okay, so we have the initial incident, the warning, where he shoots the woman who refuses to have sex with him. We have Jenny, whom he breaks into her home, kills her. And
Yes.
we now have the Austin yogurt shop murders. Well, all of a sudden, from 1992 to 1997, Robert's quiet. So, why was there a pause in violence for 5 years? Well, in February 1992, about 3 months, I believe, after the yogurt shop murders, Robert is arrested in Cobb County, Georgia for possession of a stolen pistol and a stolen vehicle. Now, what police don't know is that in his car, they find a disturbing level of preparation that investigators eventually realize is a hallmark of a serial predator.
Okay.
In his vehicle, they find what they deemed a burglary kit. He was in possession of a police scanner, a police jacket.
What's that mean?
The police jacket?
Yeah.
He's impersonating a
Oh,
police officer to get
okay,
into
not the bulletproof
no, I
jacket,
think
but the
like a
actual jacket.
yes,
Okay.
burglary tools, a fake Tennessee driver's
Uh,
license. He also was charged with impersonating a police officer, again, because he had that jacket, and that, of course, we think probably is some
that would probably get a lot of people. Isn't
yes!
that awful?
Yes!
Oh,
And it
you're a policeman, you're safe.
yeah, and, and today, you can buy anything, anywhere, so you can get fake badges, you can get fake stuff, so make sure people I'm even worried when I get pulled over by a
Okay, so
police
let's
officer.
talk about this. How do you know when you're pulled over that it's the real deal?
I mean, at least
They're
when
gonna
you're
be in
pulled
a
over,
car.
they're in the police car, but, like, I'm thinking, like, if somebody came to my door, a police officer, and was,
Mhm.
like, knocked on the door,
Mhm.
I mean, and said, "Hey, I don't know. Nowadays, I'm not letting them in. I'll talk to you out here on the front porch."
Right.
I guess, I don't know, or through the
Yeah.
people, but it's scary. You do have to be extra
Mhm.
cautious because, and I think it's a sad reality, people are more leery when it comes to police now.
Or when he asks to roll your window down, just do a little crack
Yeah.
and be like, "I need proof that you're a real police
Police
officer."
officer. Yeah. You just can't ever be too safe. I don't know. It's sad that we're in a world like that.
I know,
But
it really is.
now the outcome of him being pulled over in February of 92 and them finding all this crap in his car is a 5-year sentence in prison. So,
Oh, okay.
but they had no clue, again, that he is attached to these yogurt shop murders and Jenny's murder. They have no idea.
So
This
he just gets 5 years for what's in his car.
correct. Just for he's going to serve
For the
more
burglary
crap.
kit.
He's
Yeah.
getting more for impersonating a police officer
he-
than he did for shooting a woman and
Oh
almost
my-
killing her.
That is so messed up.
It is. So, again, the outcome, he reaches a plea deal, gets 5 years in prison, and they do make him serve his full term this time, which is good. So he's in there until February of 1997. So the only reason we get this 5-year span of calm pause from him is because he's in jail.
prison.
Exactly. Now, here's what's crazy. This arrest occurs literally like 2 months after the Austin yogurt shop murders. And Brashears, again, while Brashears has been stopped by Border Patrol in a stolen car with a .380 pistol.
And that's what was used in the yogurt shop.
That was
that was one of them.
Yeah, that was one of the bullets. Less than 48 hours after the Austin killings. So he actually was pulled over 48 hours after the Austin killings, but was released before the Georgia arrest put him behind
So
bars.
they failed to connect the dots.
Correct. They had him 48 hours after, and it takes 34 years to end up solving it. Isn't that crazy?
That is just...
He was in their hands, and they didn't even know it.
Wow.
Because he got stopped by Border Patrol. He was trying to go to Mexico.
Oh, is that?
I believe so.
Oh,
and
I bet you he was.
Yeah. And so, yeah, here we go.
Heck
so
yeah, I'm out going to Mexico.
97, he gets released from jail, again, quiet for 5 years. He literally is released in February of 97. Guess how long it takes him to start up his crime spree again?
A couple days.
Literally, less than a month. March 1997.
No rehabilitation whatsoever.
No.
Again.
Like I said, I think he probably is worse because he knows he's gotten away with all those things.
And he's probably just sitting there in prison thinking,
what am I going to do
out?
next?
I'm going to get out. They're going to let me out. So what am I going to do next?
So in March of 1997, a month after he's released, Robert Brashears forces his way into a Memphis, Tennessee home on Byron Road. Within that home, there are 5 people, and he ends up holding them all at gunpoint. One of those individuals is a 14-year-old girl, and he rapes her in front of the people he's tied up.
Oh my God.
I mean, this guy is a devil.
He is
a
one of the worst.
Devil. This is bad. She survives. They all survive. He did not kill them. And DNA is collected from this 14-year-old girl. But this case remained unsolved for 2 decades. And this is going to piss you off. I literally wanted to scream. Okay, this happens in 97. They take a vaginal swab rape kit. Supposed to be tested as soon as possible, correct? This case is unsolved for 2 decades because finally, in 2016, the state tests that rape kit.
Oh my God.
This is how flawed a lot of our states.
That poor girl.
Yes.
That poor girl.
Yes. So
going through all that and then getting swabbed and going through the rape kit, all for them to
not even test it.
Not even go through with it.
Not even test it. So no, they finally,
I'd be so pissed for our parents, especially after I'd sat there and watched her.
That happened.
Watch that happen.
Yes. Now, again, why?
Mother trucker.
Is this laziness? Is this, well, according to the Memphis police, they're like, you know what? We were so backlogged with rape kits and other tests. It fell through the fucking cracks.
Don't you think that should have been like number 1 because of everything that went down in that house?
Yes. And
like on the top of the list, maybe, of getting it done?
Yes. And this could have totally, number 1, potentially prevented him from, if they would have tested that rape kit, could have prevented him from doing other crime. I mean, it
would have landed, well, his DNA was out there.
Yes.
So it would have landed him back in prison.
Right. But probably.
For what, a couple more years?
But at least.
Because, he didn't kill anybody.
Yes.
Oh,
So
we're on fire in here.
I tell you, okay, it's so frustrating. And I'm not a police officer. I'm not an investigator. I know they work hard and that's hard, but
No,
you're
I
like,
do
come
I understand, but
on.
that is no, I don't understand. That
I
I don't
I
understand
know.
how that got through the cracks.
You have to think it's laziness, it's lack of wanting to
Somebody
do your
didn't do
job,
something.
wanting to do your job. So yeah, so that happens and the nothing is done. And again, that's not solved for many years to come. And so he continues his crime spree.
Sure.
This brings us to Missouri.
Really? I can get away with anything.
Anything.
Anything. I did this in front of people.
And I'm not even being held accountable.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So March 1998. Again, our we had March 1997. So we have about a
1
year.
year.
Shockingly, he goes about a year.
Mhm.
Now that's we don't know about. I truly believe there
There
are other
more.
things he's done that I'm not talking about today because we don't know.
Right.
That I think he's a serial killer. So we're going to Portageville, Missouri, March 28th, 1998. Portageville is a quiet, rural farming community in Missouri's Boot Hill. And it straddles New Madrid and Pemiscount counties, and it serves as a local hub for what people call the region's agricultural economy. And Portageville, at this time in the late 90s, had about 3,400 residents. So small, rural Missouri
Mhm.
town. And just like a lot, it was close-knit, kind of conservative. Most residents owned their homes. It was a very much kind of a suburban, rural feel. And they are just about 5 miles west of the Mississippi. Again, lots of agriculture, a lot of fertile farmland.
Yeah.
So it's your typical little rural Missouri town where you
Mhm.
feel safe.
Sure.
Yeah. Sadly, March 1998, Robert decides Portageville, Missouri is going to be his next place of attack. Why did he pick that? Honestly, they believe this is totally random.
I'm just gonna stop here.
I'm going to drive around till I find a place that I think is secluded or I can get away with something. Or they do believe he probably cased the house
This
for a
is like
few
a
hours.
hobby for him.
Oh, this is scary. Yes. They're pretty sure he probably cased the house because Sherry Schreier, 38, devoted mom, very active in her church, and her daughter Megan, who was 12 at the time, who was deemed very bright, curious, loved by her friends, were at their home. And not too long before this, approximately 6 o'clock, her husband Anthony, Sherry's husband Anthony, and their son had to go run some errands in town. So they're like, we're going to go run some errands. We'll be back in like 30 minutes, an hour. We're not going to be gone very long. Within this 41-minute window, Sherry and Megan have something horrific happen to them. Right after they pull out, Robert Brashears ends up going into the home, binding and assaulting both victims.
So he was waiting outside.
Correct. I believe he cased the house, saw Anthony and the son, saw them leave.
You think he was gonna kill all 4 of them anyway?
No.
Originally? Or he was
His MO is women.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
notice.
Yeah, he doesn't kill any men.
And he doesn't jack with men because he's a pussy.
Exactly.
So that's what it is.
Good point,
It
Megan.
is. So he goes in, he ends up tying up, gagging them with their own clothes. Again, same thing as the yogurt shop. So he's starting to show some patterns here. He sexually assaults the 12-year-old and then shoots both of them in the back of the head and kills them. Yeah. Investigators determined that a .22 caliber handgun was used, just like at the yogurt shop murders. So Anthony and his son show back up at home, literally 41
What the
minutes
hell went
later.
down?
Yes. That case, of course, goes cold for years. So crime number 5 he gets away with, March of 98.
This guy.
He's not done on March 28th, 98. Same day, he has killed Megan and Sherry. 2.5 hours later, he drives down the road to Dyersburg, Tennessee, where he targets another woman.
The same very day?
Same day. Literally in the
Oh my gosh.
Yes, same day.
How much evil is in you?
A lot. So he's just driving down a road in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and he sees this van and he stops this woman and says, hey, she's out in her yard. He's driving around. He stops her and he gets out of his car and he says, hey, could you give me directions? She's in the yard with her kids. As he approaches her, he tries to push her into the home. He grabs her and tries to force her back into her own home. She struggles. She gets away. But during this, Robert has a handgun and he shoots at her. When he shoots at her, it strikes her, but only in the arm. And luckily, she's able to get herself and the kids inside before he can do anything else. And she survives.
And the kids survived.
Yes, everybody survives. This is amazing.
Oh.
Thank God. Now, this is important because ballistics from the projectile.
She fought back.
Oh, she fought. She's like, I'm not going down. No.
I'm going to fight. And plus, I got 3 freaking kids right here.
Yes.
You're not going to do this.
He's getting super ballsy. Middle of the day. Her yard. He doesn't care who sees him at this point. He's so
physically push her back into her house. I think no one's going to see
that.
No.
And based on what he had just done to Sherry and Megan, we can only assume. Yeah. So, again, the ballistics.
How are you not done for the freaking day?
Seriously.
How are you freaking...
You're a madman. I mean, madman. Ballistics from the projectile pulled from the woman's arm where she was shot matched the .22 caliber weapon used with
earlier
Sherry and
day.
Megan. Yeah, same day. Now, this survivor is the first person to provide a detailed description of Robert that finally allows investigators to create a composite sketch.
Okay, and the survivor is who again?
Well, we don't know her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I honestly, when I looked several places, so I don't know in terms, but she was 25, had her kids out there, but she is the first survivor that's able to give a good sketch. Now, you had those women, the women at the house and nobody was killed, but the girl was raped.
Yeah.
Even they weren't able to give
a sketch.
As good of a sketch as this
girl
woman.
Got a good look.
Yeah, because he approached her. She looked at him face to face. Like it tried to initiate a conversation first. So she was able to really get a good look at him.
So he just stops there and then gets out of his van all ballsy and just starts pushing her back in her house. She's like, oh, hell no.
No.
And then he shoots her.
Yes. Then as she's trying to get back in her house, shoots her. So Robert gets away, but at least they're able to get a composite sketch this time. And they do use this sketch for decades trying to find this son of a bitch. Now, for me, his mobility is terrifying. He is not stopping, like you said. He's not taking a breather. He's literally crossing state lines and just creating chaos. He doesn't care. He
is gone.
What's that? He's like
crazy.
He's like insatiable. Isn't that word?
You cannot get satisfied.
Enough. Yeah. And it's like he can't. It's just gross.
Yeah.
Okay. So, composite sketch. Thank goodness that woman, she's fine. Her kids are fine. But here we go. He's not done. That was March of 98. Well, that must have scared him a little bit because he does pause for a few months. We're going to fast forward now to November of 98.
Okay.
Okay. And we're now in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay. Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
At approximately 7:40 a.m. on November 7th, 1998, the Lexington, Kentucky Fire Department were called to respond to a structure fire. Yeah, at the Nixon Hearing Aid Center on Malibu Drive. Linda Rutledge, who was the owner of this Nixon Hearing Aid Center, her body was sadly found in a back hallway after they were finally extinguished the blaze. The coroner said that Linda Rutledge had been shot, guess where?
Oh my gosh.
Multiple times in her head.
Why?
And
why multiple times?
Why? And investigators confirmed, you guessed it, she'd been sexually assaulted prior to her death.
And then he just burned down the building.
Yep, arson. Another cold case, another shock to another town, no true evidence left. A woman who was known to be a great part of the community, helping the community. Terrible. Okay?
Wow.
So that is November of 1998. Well, 1999.
2 months later?
Yep. 2 months later, January of 1999, we're going to have a standoff with Robert Brashears. January 13th, 1999, Super 8 Motel, of course, in Kennett, Missouri. Missouri. Okay? Police officers identify a vehicle in the Super 8 parking lot with stolen plates.
Okay.
And as they start to do some investigation, they are able to find out that the stolen plates are attached to the room where Robert
Hey,
Brashears
maybe
is
that's why when
staying.
you go stay in a hotel, they want your plates.
Probably.
Right?
Yes. So they were able to pull those up and see
Yeah.
these are stolen,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Okay, who checked in with this?"
Because I've always wondered why they need our
There
plates.
you go.
That maybe?
That and I guess to make sure, like, if somebody has to go around and be like, "Okay, yeah, that car can be
Yeah.
parked here," or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're on the right track too. So they're able to find out that the person with these plates is Robert Brashears. And at this time, they don't know who Robert Brashears is, what he's really done. At this point, they think he's just stolen plates or a car. So when officers go to the room, they enter the room, and Robert, again, like the freaking wimp he is, he's hiding under the
I'm
bed.
sorry, but pussy ass mother trucker.
Yes.
Pussy
Yes.
ass mother trucker. Like you're under the
Under
freaking
the
bed.
bed. Yes.
You've murdered all these people so ballsy.
Oh, look what
And
I
now you're going. I'm gonna get under the bed.
Not only is he under the bed, he produces a loaded semi-automatic pistol, puts it to his head, and says, "If you all don't get out of here, I'm shooting myself."
So do they just wait?
So they retreat. They're like, which I'm glad they retreat, but we're gonna find out because you're like, okay, keep him alive.
Yeah.
We need some information. So they're like, fine, they back up. Now, he's not gonna go down without a blaze of glory. You know, he's gonna take the woman hostage, his wife. Yes, he's married at this time.
How did that happen?
Exactly. Takes his wife, biological daughter, and 2 stepdaughters hostage while he's in the room. For the next 4 hours, police negotiators try to get Robert Brashears to come out, leave your family, let them out, at least let them out unharmed, which he does.
He let them out?
He does.
That is very surprising to me because at
Agreed.
this point, what do you have to lose?
Exactly. But he does. He releases the kids and the wife. Shortly after letting them out, guess what he does? Fucking shoots himself.
So that we know
Coward.
nothing.
Coward.
Yeah.
Shoots himself in the head. He's transported to a hospital, remained in a coma for 6 days, and died on January 19th, 1999. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Now, here's another dummy. He uses a .380 pistol to kill himself.
Which was what was used at
Yes.
the yogurt shop.
Decades later,
The same
ballistics,
freaking
same
He's
gun.
got the same freaking gun?
All these years later.
You know, that's poetic justice right there,
I-
that he would shoot himself with the same freaking gun.
Yes. Decades later, ballistics will confirm that this is the same weapon used to murder 13-year-old Amy Ayers.
He got away with so much, and then he kept the weapon.
Isn't that crazy? This is you've got these so opposite personalities of, look, I can dominate and I'm powerful and I can come in and take over. And then you got this wimp.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I didn't even want to give Robert Brashears more airtime than I needed to about his past because I don't care what happened to him, honestly, in his past. That doesn't justify any of this.
No.
And yeah, sorry. Now, this is so interesting because I'm like, so he's married? He has 2 stepdaughters and a biological daughter. He's a woman predator,
How did
rapist.
he fit the time in to do all that?
Seriously. So his biological daughter, Deborah Brashears Clonch, she was 8 years old during that standoff in the motel at the Super 8. She described her father as an all-American dad.
No.
She truly believed he was amazing. She said
he was a psychopath.
She remained completely unaware of his crimes until he ends up being identified. She says of this thing, she said, this makes me feel like my whole life was a lie up to this point.
It
was. Your whole life was a lie.
Your dad is a serial killer.
And a rapist, a child rapist, a predator, a child pedophile. So you all know, I said it earlier, how does this mofo get caught? DNA. DNA catches up to him.
Thank you, Lord, for DNA.
And those police investigators that knew early on, we need to collect DNA.
Yeah.
13 years of murders, 6 states, at least 8 confirmed victims, multiple sexual assaults. Highways connected, timelines are aligning, and this pattern becomes undeniable. To be precise, Robert Eugene Brashears was never caught in the traditional sense that we want him to be caught
Okay.
because he killed himself before
Right.
he could be caught. Instead, he was what they call unmasked. Now, I always butcher this word, posthumously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right to me.
Basically, after he was dead, through a series of forensic breakthroughs that, again, are going to span over 30 years. So, here is the exact sequence of how investigators finally catch this guy.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, the Memphis missing link. Okay. In 2016, the breakthrough here begins with a 19-year-old rape kit
Yep. That one.
from Memphis, Tennessee. That one, remember? Yep, that sat on the shelf for years.
I bet you when they found that.
Think if you were the parents of any of these victims,
Are you
that
I was say, are
I
you
could have had
joking right
answers.
now? Like, you're lying, right?
Literally, they've lost years of their life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, years. Now, when this kit is finally tested in 2016, the DNA is entered into CODIS. And we know CODIS is that system. They put everybody's DNA in there.
DNA database.
Yes, national database. In 2017, so they put it in there. In 2017, that profile triggered a hit. Now, no name was attached to it. They're just saying, we have this DNA, but we're not sure who it belongs to. And that DNA you have is the same one. So it's linking the Memphis rape to the Schreier murders in Missouri, and they end up linking it also to Jenny Zatricki's murder in South
Yes.
Carolina when he first got out of jail. So they're able, through this hidden CODIS and again, good police work,
Yes.
collecting the DNA from future crimes. And again, investigators now know this same man, still don't have a name, but this same man has committed at least 3 crimes that we know of. Okay. All we've got is his DNA. And that's scary to think, okay, they don't know at this point he's dead. You know what I'm
They
saying?
just
And so they're
assume that he's just
out
still
there.
out there killing.
Yes. Okay. So that was 2016. So they're like, okay, we've got a profile on a serial killer. We don't know who it is.
Okay.
Early 2018, the Missouri State Highway Patrol partnered with Parabon Nano Labs. And I don't know if you guys know, there are a lot of these labs popping up out there now, and they're independently owned genealogy databases that basically can put together a family tree.
So basically, if you don't know who your dad is, you
Go ask
to
these people.
places.
Or if you're like, I've got this DNA and we don't know who it belongs to, they can help you figure out. Basically, they take these genealogy databases like 23andMe,
Mhm.
GED Match,
Okay.
and they're able to do what they call a reverse family tree. So instead of obviously starting with the suspect, they're starting with, okay, let's see who else out there has part of this DNA in them,
Yeah.
and let's link. So investigators end up figuring out through the Parabon Nano Labs that we've got some relatives here of people that have the same DNA. The main person that we are finding is Deborah Brashears Clonch,
Okay.
his daughter, who was 8 when he killed himself. They said, you know what? We think we may have some DNA here that matches your dad. We're doing a case. Would you
Mhm.
mind giving your DNA? She's like, sure. She gave a DNA sample. This confirmed that her dad was a serial killer.
Yeah.
And her DNA was used to help prove that.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's in 2018, early 2018. Okay, September 2018. They're like, yep, okay, we got our man. It's Robert Brashears, but we want to be 100% certain.
Positive.
We want legal closure on this. So authorities
So at
obtained
this time, they think he's responsible for all these murders.
3 that they know
3
of.
of
Just
them.
3.
Okay.
Yes. At this point, they know he's connected to Jenny
Yeah.
Zatricki. They know he's connected to the Missouri murders,
Mhm.
Sherry and Megan, and then the Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, but
Right.
not the yogurt shop
No,
yet.
at this point, they do not know he is anything to do with that. So authorities obtained a court order to exhume Brashears' body from his grave. He literally was just buried in Kennett, Missouri. Sadly, he was buried in our state. Because that's where he killed himself. So I'm guessing they were like, we're just burying
I
him
can't
here.
believe they didn't
Ugh.
cremate him
Ugh.
because they obviously took the time to put him in
They
something.
did.
You know what I mean? To put him in a
Yes.
coffin of some sort.
But remember, at this time, his family doesn't know he's a serial killer when
Oh,
he
so they
died.
probably had a service for
Sure.
him.
And oh, he's this great dad. And
Oh my
yeah, why would he kill
gosh.
himself? And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So forensic teams extract a DNA sample from Brashears' exhumed body. I just think that's fascinating. And
Well, I think that's great that
me
he had to
too.
get exhumed, and
Yeah,
y
after years and
you can
years.
kill yourself, but you can't get away.
No, no, and from your body, you may be in the ground.
DNA never
No,
lies.
and it was a perfect match. On October 5th, 2018, law enforcement officially named Robert Eugene Brashears as the serial killer.
Wow.
Now, how do we connect everything, all the other things? Well, you guys, this final piece to connect Austin and Lexington, Kentucky does not happen until this past year.
Just this past year.
This just broke
Oh.
months ago, you guys. This is crazy. Months ago. The final catch happens September 2025. Again, months ago. The Austin Police Department announced that DNA, yes, the DNA from Amy Ayers' fingernail clippings, the little girl.
So she fought.
She fought. They said, and they would not have been able to match him to this case if she had not scratched and clawed, and the CSI investigator thought enough to clip her fingernails.
Wow.
And Amy Ayers' brother's wife, so this would be Amy's sister-in-law, took a huge, she took a huge role in the yogurt shop murders, and she was like, we are not giving up on this for years here, and she had a huge part in helping solve this case too. I just have to say that.
Yeah.
All of the girls from the yogurt shop, their families have just pushed and pushed.
And so the dudes that they accused that were in jail for all this time, they got released?
Yes. Well, they were already released.
Oh, they
because
were.
They remember they'd been released, but they were but the yogurt shop murders, those families still believed they were guilty until
They still believe those guys were
Yes,
guilty. Oh my gosh,
until
those poor guys.
this right here.
And you know what? Yeah, instead of confessing to it, they should have just got lawyers.
I know.
Instead of sitting there for 8 hours, it would have been like a very.
But I know that one of them said, one of them was like, I knew I hadn't done anything,
So why do I need a lawyer?
And I couldn't afford a lawyer.
Well, they said they will provide one for you if you can't afford it.
Exactly.
They say that.
They do. Now, again, fingernail clippings. Thank God Amy did that. She really helped solve this. She did. And you guys, this DNA from the yogurt shop murders, specifically a rare YSTR match. I don't know what all that means, but basically it was something very rare. It helped develop and match the profiles from the other cases. So they were like, yep, here we go. This was followed in January 2026 by the Lexington police, confirming through, again, DNA and the weapons that Linda Rutledge, who owned the Vision Care Center, who was murdered, raped, and her business set on fire. Yep, that's him too.
Sorry, you can't get away.
Nope.
Even when you set it on fire,
Yep, we
mother
gotcha.
trucker.
All the pieces fall into place. Finally. Those girls were killed in 1991, and it took till 2025 to get answers. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I
Now,
know I say wow a lot when we're recording, but I'm really like wowed.
I know
What
this
the
case.
hell?
I was like, I could not believe it. Well, and here's
Just
what's crazy.
Makes you like, ugh.
What brought me to this case was the yogurt shop murders.
Yeah.
Because I've watched a lot on that. And then as I started, then I'm like, okay, I heard in September they solved it. And I'm like, who is this guy? And then I see he's connected to a Missouri
Megan,
murder. It's crazy.
So interesting.
So really, Robert Brashears is a sociopath, a psychological sociopath.
How the hell did someone end up so incredibly messed up?
Agreed. I mean, we've got someone who's targeting women and girls in isolated places like homes and work, fire and arson, interstate mobility. And again, this is not, a lot of these were not planned, but they were planned in the sense he looked for opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, Robert was described 3 ways: predatory, adaptable, and methodical. And that's how he got away with it. And what can we learn from this psychopath? I mean, pretty much what we can learn is there are really bad people out there. Sadly, we know it. And we need to be safe and be aware.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's sad, but pretty much that's what we can learn from him is that we just got to protect ourselves. And I think, and go down fighting.
Absolutely.
Go down.
Scratch.
Yeah, and the people who, yeah,
All of
again,
them, all of these people were not all of them, but a lot of them were escorted to the back of the
yes.
area.
So they
And
were.
once again, don't go.
Yes. And these are people, I mean, you're talking about like Sherry and Megan from Missouri. They're in a community where nothing like this ever happens. They were probably like, oh my gosh, we're just going to do what he
I
says.
really think people think that. I really think that
Oh,
people think if I just cooperate,
then
then
it'll be
I'm gonna
okay.
because they're telling them that.
Yes.
If
And
you just do what
that's,
I say, I'm not gonna kill you. Because think about it. You're saying the whole time, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please. Like that's what you're
yes.
saying on your way back to that room.
And all they want you to do is be complicit. And that's what you're doing. And you shock the shit out of them when you fight.
Yeah.
So fight.
Ugh.
Um, but screw Robert. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the victims because there were so many. So let's remember them here really quickly because they are the heart of our story. We had Jenny Zatricki. She was 28, hardworking, independent. Amy Ayers, 13. Eliza Thomas, 17. Jennifer Harbison, 17. Sarah Harbison, 15. Just trying to work, make some money, enjoying an evening
At the yogurt shop.
at the yogurt shop. Sherry and Megan Schreier. Sherry was 38, Megan 12. The safety of their little farmhouse in Portageville just totally violated. Linda Rutledge, 43, worked hard for her community. And our 14-year-old survivor from Memphis who was raped and was able to finally get closure. And then Michelle Wilkerson, who was that survivor initially and was
Mhm.
ignored. But yeah, you guys, we want to remember the people, the lives, and not just this terrible person. So, Mindy, would you want to say just a quick prayer for all the families involved in this and that hopefully with this discovery recently, they might be able to find some kind of peace?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you today and we want to bring to you, oh my goodness, all of these victims' family and their friends and their survivors. Also, Lord, what happened to them, so tragic. And as we are thankful that he got caught, their lives will never be the same. So they just will always need your constant love, Lord. And we just ask that, you can bring them peace in whatever possible way that you can, and knowing that he is no longer out there hurting people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Brashears thought time would protect him. He thought that, I'll disappear, I'll move on. And you know what? I'll even kill myself and then the truth will be lost. But no, he was wrong. DNA waited. It waited patiently until science could speak, until those victims could speak. And, you know, a lot of people say justice wasn't served. He didn't have to ever pay for his crimes. But, you know, I don't know. I think this earth is better off without him on it.
For sure.
And again, in remembering the victims, that's what we want to do here. We want to remember the victims and maybe, kind of reclaim some of that, their names, their faces, their lives, so that this monster is not what we see when we hear these names and these situations. We think of the victims and the families. This has been Missouri Mayhem. Thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it. I'm Megan.
And I'm Mindy. If you have time, please give us a quick rate and review on your podcast platform. Until next time.
Stay safe, stay kind, and stay curious. Missouri, you bring the mystery.
And we'll bring the mayhem.
Peace out.